Fellow Congressmen, we stand before you today to converse about the Indian Removal Act. This act was passed in 1830, a mere 15 years ago. This act was, and still is, a positive step for the United States. It is our right and our responsibility to use this land for our citizens. And now some of my fellow congressmen want us to apologize. Apologize for what exactly? For separating two very different hostile nations, helping improve the economy, and allowing Indians to practice their own cultures and their own religions? It is my belief that we should not apologize. We created over 25 million acres of land that was previously occupied by the Indians and that is now being used to mine for gold. This land is also used to help grow important crops that boosted the economy and are still relevant in improving it today. The Indians that were forced to move previously had the chance to assimilate to American culture. They refused to do so and would not conform to the terms they agreed to. But by the land that we generously gave them to live on, they no longer have to worry about their culture changing. Furthermore, the location and the amount of land is a key factor in why, in recent years, there have been no wars between the Americans and the Native Americans and the white settlers. When we passed this act, we salvaged the Indians' beliefs and culture and helped our nation's economy and assisted in separating two very diverse societies.
Some of the people present may argue that the Indian Removal Act has increased the tension between the Native Americans and settlers rather than reducing it. But there is evidence proving that strife between the different civilizations is slowly but surely coming to a complete stop. The evidence is simple but solid. Since 1830, the year of the Indian Removal Act was passed by Congress, only 2 wars have been fought, the last war dating back to 3 whole years ago. By apologizing, we would only be refreshing Native American minds of the multiple wars we successfully defeated them, which could possibly rekindle angry thoughts of revenge. Besides this, the apology does not promise to change the situation they are currently in, nor does it promise them the return of their former land. Instead, it promises violence, because to claim regret for an action you are not intending to counteract is hypocritical and upsetting. My fellow congressmen, think of how you would feel if someone said sorry but did not correct the errors. This is how the Native Americans would surely feel. Therefore, the resolution of apologies should under no circumstances be passed, because feelings would not be mended, they would be hurt, producing more violence than the silence of the government would.
The complete removal of the Native Americans was absolutely necessary in order for our economy to expand. If we observe the state of the economy now, in 1845, it could never have developed into its current robust status had we not removed the Indians from this territory. On much of the land occupied by the Native Americans were valuable resources that were highly important to the growth of the nation, such as gold and fertile land for agricultural use. The Native American tribes had plenty of resources for their own use, but they did not utilize them like we have. In one instance, where we have made the most of former Native American land, is Chilton Country, where 50,000 ounces of gold had been mined. America's population is increasing rapidly at this time, so the natural resources we need to support and nurture the inhabitants of this young country are now being used.
As you probably know, before the Indian Removal Act, there was much controversy between the American culture and the Indian culture. Some Indians tried to assimilate to the American culture by going to church, growing crops, and even owning slaves. But then again, that was just some. Other Indian tribes simply refused to assimilate. They ignored the treaties and continued in their own ways. Because they didn't follow the treaty, Congress had the right to take away their land. We made a treaty and they broke it. If anything, they should be apologizing to us. There is no need to apologize for something we did not do. An apology is completely and thoroughly unnecessary. As you can clearly see, the Indian Removal Act benefited us in many ways. We should not apologize for our success, nor should we apologize for retrieving our land. Instead, we should continue to develop into a better country and always remember the Indian Removal Act as the beginning of our success.